Namaste, Namaste friends. A hearty welcome for all of you for this session. I have been asked by our department to do one more lesson in mathematics, 9th standard portions, and from geometry section, chapter number 5, triangles, which will be telecasted in Doordarshan Chandana Vahini. This chapter, triangles, the main objective of this is the concept of congruent triangles, Sarva Sama Tribhujagalu, then its applications and the inequalities in triangles also. And 4 sessions are allotted for this chapter. Okay, so in this regard, I have prepared some teaching aids which I just wanted to share it with you so that you can give me some more feedback, and with all your feedbacks, I wanted to perform very well in the final output. So here we start. This is one of the model which I have made for this chapter. Friends, you know that in order to find a pair of congruent triangles, we have 4 tests, 4 rules, 4 criterions, 4 theorems. You know that they are nothing but SAS, ASA, SSS and RHS. Okay? The motivation to do all this is, I saw one video in 2014 by BBC, wherein they have tried to explain the non-Euclidean geometry so beautifully. I think we must see that for the way in which the content has been expressed and the teaching aids. So after seeing that only, I had that concept in my mind, and hence we could do these 4 staircases and the 4 triangular base prisms using the sunboard sheets only. We have 5 mm thickness. Friends, if you just give a flip like this, you can see the general enunciation for each of these theorems. Okay? You can easily see all the general enunciation. Okay, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ನಿರೂಪಣೆಗಳನ್ನು ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಫೇಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಬಹುದು. Okay, now if you give one more flip, okay, you will see the figure as well as the data and to prove portions also. Okay, so this is how we can impress our students and make them very interesting regarding these criterions. Okay, friends, in my experience, I have found that whatever the 4 criterions that we have just now discussed is the pillars of a huge complex, So these are the 4 strong pillars on which the entire geometry has been built up. So here is SAS, this is ASA, this pillar refers to SSS, and finally this is RHS criterion. Anyhow, these are the strong foundation for a huge structure on which we can easily understand the concept of congruent triangles. Once we understand congruent triangles, definitely we can understand the similar triangle concept, and with the help of similar triangle concept, we can easily develop how the 6 trigonometric ratios have been developed or formed. That is the beauty of the congruent triangles concept. I have done in order to demonstrate the congruent triangle chapter, and I have got one more teaching aid which I wanted to discuss with you, that is article number 5.2, wherein isosceles triangles and some of its properties are proved. That is, if two sides of a triangle are equal, then two angles facing them are equal. This is 5.2 theorem. Conversely, if two angles of a triangle are equal, then two sides facing them are equal. This is the converse of 5.2 and it is 5.3 theorem. And I request all of you to observe exercise number 5.3, problem number 2 and problem number 5. Something very important to share with you. Shall we do that, friends, now? Here we go. Isosceles triangles have many interesting properties. Okay, so one property can be easily explained with the help of this teaching aid. Okay, let me do that. Okay, here is an isosceles triangle with AB is equal to AC. Therefore, angle B and angle C are equal. Okay, now you imagine a perpendicular is drawn from this vertex to the base. When once you draw a perpendicular like this, what will happen? So when you compare these two right triangles, these two angles are equal, these two sides are equal, they are the hypotenuse, and this side is common. Therefore, these two right triangles became congruent because of RHS criterion. Once they became congruent, don't you think the corresponding parts are equal? That is, BD is equal to DC. When BD is equal to DC, we can definitely call this perpendicular as the median, and these two angles are equal. When these two angles are equal, this will be an angular bisector also. So we can put all these things in the form of a statement like this. Okay, in an isosceles triangle, the perpendicular drawn from the vertex to the base is, it does two things. Number one, it is median to the base, and secondly, it is the angular bisector of the vertex also. Okay, now shall we go to the converse of this, friends? Here is the converse. Okay, here is another isosceles triangle ABC, in which as usual AB is equal to AC, angle B and angle C are equal. Instead of drawing a perpendicular, let us choose the midpoint D of the base BC. Therefore, we have BD is equal to DC. So you just join A and D, you get the median. Now compare these two triangles. They are congruent because of SSS criterion. When these two became congruent, again the CPCT, corresponding parts of congruent triangles, are equal. Therefore, we can say that these two angles are 90. When these two angles are 90, the median is perpendicular to the base, and these two angles are equal. Therefore, this is an angular bisector also. So all these things can be put in this form. In an isosceles triangle, the median drawn from the vertex to the base is perpendicular to the base, and secondly, angular bisector of the vertex. Okay. Finally, we can put this one in another converse form, and this is the converse. The third one is this. In an isosceles triangle, if you draw an angular bisector of the vertex, then this angular bisector will be perpendicular to the base as well as median to the base. Okay, because of ACS criterion. So, in an isosceles triangle, the angular bisector drawn from the vertex to the base is, first point, median to the base and perpendicular to the base. Finally, friends, the isosceles triangle property can be so beautifully demonstrated like this. Okay, so I am preparing so many other teaching aids in order to make it as interesting as possible. So far as the work example or an exercise are concerned, I have already prepared the PowerPoint which I have shared with you. So kindly give me your feedbacks, your experiences, and the place where the students feel difficult to understand this concept, so that I can incorporate all those things in my lesson and make the 4 sessions as colorful as possible. With this note, I salute you, I namaste, ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಅಭಿನಂದನೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಲ್ಲಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ವಾಚಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ. ನಮಸ್ತೆ.